teach, reinforce, learn, and that equals good habits. I want you to call in today if you agree, disagree. Call in 901-452-3094, 901-452-3094. Give us a call. Let me know how you think, what you like, you don't like. And the reason for this topic today, I've been sitting back and listening, and of course what happened in Frazier a couple of weeks ago with the young man, and everybody just seems to be, there just seems to be no stability at all. And I asked myself, who's to blame? People are pointing the finger at the police, at the U.S. Marshals. Everybody's blaming everyone. So then I began to pray and I began to think, and I remember Proverbs. My daddy was a preacher, so he made us read the Bible from cover to cover. But I can remember Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from that. It's a little odd for me to be quoting Proverbs because, I stayed in trouble, so Proverbs was read to me frequent. But our topic, parents must lead. But before I get into that, and I hope that you made a note for the telephone call-in line, 901-452-3094. This is P equals GE squared. The P stands for power. Power. The equal sign. G stands for God Almighty. Power equals God. Then one must acquire an education. That's the first E. The second E, then one will acquire some economics. And as I've said since I've been on this show, as we're moving into our 5th year, then you buy yourself a politician. See, one of the problems in the African American black community is that we go to the polls and we elect everybody, but the rich boys, they control the politicians. The Chamber of Commerce, they've got a fund where each member gives $2,500 and they give money to the politicians. I was reading last couple of days where the individual he had some ownership in Home Depot, and he gave Trump I don't know how many millions of dollars, and everybody's all upset about that. But the businessman was simply saying, when they get ready to build the wall, I want to have first option because I've already given. And I want people to understand politics determine, money determine who gets how much of what, when. But in the African American community, we don't contribute, we vote, and we vote in block. But if you ride through our communities and look, streets need to be paved, garbage not picked up, it's dirty, nasty, filthy. Then you drive through the white community that give money. They understand this political game. It's betting like on your horse or their horse. But all we do is we listen to folk like Jesse and Al Sharpton, and they get us all riled up, and we go vote. But Jesse and Al, they also participate in the spoils to the victory goes to spoils, money, what you get in return. They benefit. So if you're listening to me today, I want you to understand this game called politics. It's a game. But we get in, we lock, stock, and barrel. We jump in with both feet, put all our money on one horse. And then you look at our communities. We're arguing with Graceland. Until the guest house came, we couldn't even get our streets paved on Elvis Presley. I've been there 45 years and they never paved Elvis Presley. Now they're putting in new sewers, gigantic sewers. They're not doing it for the homeowners in Whitehaven. They're doing it for the rich folk. Elvis Presley Enterprises. And so what we've got to understand is what we must do. First of all, we better control our politicians. Now, I supported Senator Tate for re-election to the State Senate District 33. The Democrats got all riled up, and they ran an opponent against him, and they lost a guy that had ties in. And because some of these folk like GE Hardaway and the rest of them, they got their own agenda. My agenda is the people's agenda. But the people don't have any way of knowing, so then they go one way. Now they're targeting John DeBerry about abortions and they do all this nonsense. But the serious part about the politics is to the victory goes to spoils. To the victory goes to spoils. We have very little commercial establishments in our communities. But you drive down Horn Lake, smaller than South Haven. They've got everything: Home Depots, Lowe's, hamburger places. They even got Five Guys, and they've got less than 24,000 people. But what they've done, they've told us, and they painted this picture that first of all black folks are dangerous. They smoke dope. They rob. They shiftless. They're lazy. When you watch the news that comes on at 5:30, 6 o'clock, the first thing they lead into is the number of murders, the killings, and all of that. And I've been seeing it myself since I was a little boy. It's about the money. Yeah, I love Jesse and I love Sharpton, but I like to have the money that they make by delivering the votes. Because everything stays the same. You can't even get a minimum wage of $15 in Memphis. You can't even get that. Nashville has that. Why? We control the city. We control the county. But you can't get a $15. That's another topic. Let me get back to my topic today. I normally go into what's going on in Memphis, what's going on in Nashville, what's going on in the United States of America. Well, Trump is what's going on in the United States. He's going to spend all the money on the 4th of July. I don't get into all that. I know who I'm going to vote for, I know who I'm not going to vote for. What's going on in Nashville? Well, Governor Lee has called for a special session so that they can elect a Speaker of the House. And then in Memphis, what's going on? They're talking about the Grizzlies. Yeah, the Grizzlies. They're talking about, but nobody talks about why is it all of the shows that the FedEx Forum, they want all the activity, all the shows FedEx Forum is supposed to get. Otherwise, they got to go to Landers Center. Until Memphis decides that they are going to break up this monopoly that Uncle Fred, Uncle Billy, Fred Smith, Billy Orgel, Petty High, all these rich boys, they get all the money. They dictate everything. They buy all the politicians. And until people decide what they want and participate, until the black community says, we want some restaurants, we want something. But there's another side of that. You got to stop the killing. See, because white people say, well, we would come down and loan, the bank say, we'll loan you some money, but it's a bad investment. Why? Because nobody's going to come down there and eat food in your restaurant. They're not going to go to the theater because the kids won't be quiet in the movie, so nobody's going to do that. And that leads me into my topic today. Parents must lead. The reason our children are acting so crazy is because the parents are not disciplining the children. Proverbs, I read that to you. Proverbs 22:6. It said it. Train a child up in a way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. So the problem in the black community, I'm not talking about any other community. I'm not talking about the white community, the Asian community. I'm talking about black folk here in Memphis and all over this world. Parents have dropped the ball. They don't even teach their children. They don't teach them. So it's simple. You know, if you teach your child, then you reinforce the message, then you teach them and learn them to work, then good habits are formed. 1, teach the children. 2, reinforce the message. 3, learn your children to work. Teach them. And then good habits will be formed. Now, I know a lot of y'all think I'm nuts or crazy or whatever, but I've got a good template. And the organizer, the draftsman of the template that I grew up under was designed by Claude Long, my belated father. Yes. Everybody had went to work at 5. Everyone. At 5 they worked. But you was working before 5. You had to take your clothes off when you got in from school, hang them up because you had to wear them the next day. Put your shoes where you could find them without wasting valuable time in the morning. And then you did your evening chores. Whether it was to go to the coal store. A lot of young folks don't know what the heck coal is. Black coal, that's what Trump has promised everybody up there in the Midwest. The coal mines, you use coal. You didn't have central air and central heat when I was born. You didn't have it. You had to start a fire with wood and keep it burning with the coal. Yes, I can remember how everybody had chores. You had to help daddy. You had chores. You did work. And then you learned how to wash dishes, how to cook. The boys and girls would swap chores. But today, all the young folk do today is mom and dad will buy them a $1,000 i10X cell phone. They wear $100 Jordan tennis shoes that they go play basketball in the concrete in the evening with. They don't even take them out and put on some knockoffs. So the question is simple. Who's to blame? Who's to blame for all of this nonsense that's going on? The killing. Our children can't read. Who's to blame? I wish that I could see some parents. I'd point both of my index fingers at the parents. The parent is to blame because you are not teaching and raising your children. You want the school teachers to raise your children. You want the preacher, the pimp, or the prostitute. You want them to raise your child. And then they get involved in all kinds of stuff. Proverbs spell it out to you. And it's real simple what you've got to do. You've got to teach your child. When they're born, starting to walk, you make them pick up the toys. If they like to throw their toys all over the room, you let them walk all over the room and pick them up and put them in a central location. Every night before they go to bed, you make the child pick up the toys. And then the child realizing that is something that they must do. Then they get a little older. Now they take their clothes off and put on their pajamas. They fold them up. When they get up in the morning, they put on their clothes. Then they fold up the pajamas and put them someplace. You're teaching. If they forget to pick up the toys or fold their clothes up, parents, you leave those items right there until the next day, and they do it. And they do it. And then they do it. That's the reinforcement. You teach them first, and then you reinforce, and then they learn. You teach your children to work. If someone's out there listening to me, can identify what I'm saying, like or don't like, call me, 901-452-3094. We can talk. We can go back and forth. Where's my black Republican that calls all the time and want to monopolize my show? Where are you? Call us. You've got to teach the children. So when people are talking about our children are bad, our children going to juvenile court, our children going to jail, our children not learning, our children not reading, our children they're not good citizens. It's not the child's fault. It's the parent's fault. Yes, some of our parents are not good parents. They still want to hang out all night. They want to do what they want to do and not teach the child to pick up after themselves. Learn how to wash clothes. Learn how to clean up. If they take a shower, clean the bathroom up. A lot of children don't even understand what they're supposed to do. Then you would take that to the schoolhouse. There's no excuse for a child that's in preschool not being able to read. No excuse. Oh, but they can program that iPhone. They know what the cloud is going on when they back up stuff. But they can't read. They don't like to read. See, instead of the parents saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to come in, take our clothes off, take our evening chores, we're going to eat, then we're going to study, and there might be some telephone time. Personally, I believe there shouldn't be any telephone time through the week. I think the phones, and then you let them go to bed with the telephones, and they up all night on the telephone, and then they can't get up in the morning. Who's in charge? Who's to blame? The parent. Oh, I understand. Sprint, Verizon, they controlling you too. Everybody's got a phone, so I got to get my 5-year-old a cell phone so my 5-year-old can be like everybody else. I got to buy a $1,000 Apple phone so my son can talk. No, take the dad blasted phone. They should be reading, should be doing their chores. Parents, you are to blame. And then when the child develops habits, we teach, we reinforce, they learn, and then it becomes a habit. When the child develops a habit, one that they like, then the parent, you've lost the battle. You're going to lose it anyway when the boys get 12, 13 years old, or the girls get about the same age. If you're not prepared to knock one of them down, go to war with them, then they gonna run your house. Oh, and then when they call 911 on you, and oh, when the police tell them to put their hands up and they refuse and they reach at something and the police shoot them and kill them, then we want to march and picket all over the city, screaming and hollering, tearing up, burning up. Only in our neighborhoods. We ain't going to Germantown, Collierville. You ain't going to South Haven with that nonsense. But we do all of that. But what about all the black on black killing that's going on? Black on black. Let the police shoot somebody, intentional accident, whatever. But what about the killing? We're on target to murder more black on black than we've ever done. Parents, it's your fault because you didn't teach the child. You didn't reinforce. You didn't let them learn. Teach, reinforce, learn, and then habits. Now, if you're not teaching your child how to work, when they get 12 or 13 years old, you can forget that. You got to get in your bluff. If you had knocked Billy upside the head or Mary before they get 12 or 13, you might have to fight Mary and Billy. But it's so simple. When they're born, you teach them to pick up the toys, put their clothes in the right place, do their chores, read their books, do their homework. And then when they get to be 12, they good children. You just got to let them know who's in charge. But we're not teaching our children anything. Whatever they want, they get. Go to the store, they got all the candy around the checkout aisle. And the kids are screaming and kicking, 3, 5, 6 months old. And you're letting the children be in charge. If they're not in charge, Mr. Nike is in charge. Mr. Jordan is in charge. Because everybody's got to have $100 pair of sneakers. It's amazing to me when they began to wear uniforms and everybody thought the kids were going to wear the black and white shoes, brown and white, whatever you call it, Doc Sellers, whatever, Penny Lovers, whatever they were wearing. But the tennis shoe companies got involved and say they can wear tennis shoes. Now everybody got to have, now one of the craziest things that I see today is everybody's wearing flip-flops. They're wearing flip-flops. They got a Nike flip-flop. They got on Nike socks, and it's cold outside, raining, and they profiling. Who's in charge? Now look, I wear Nikes too. I wear Nike golf outfits. But Nike doesn't control me. And especially as a child, who's buying all that garbage? Who's buying it? But if you teach Billy and Mary to work, and you've been teaching them ever since they've been walking, 12 months, 15 months, you've taught them along the way how to do certain things. Now they go to school. They're going to do what's right. They're going to read. They're going to learn. They may be a slow reader, but you can get a tutor. Then they catch up. But if you allow Billy and Mary to get in from school, keep on their school clothes, start watching TV from the time they get in from school at 2:15, 2:30 to 12 o'clock at night. Then they take the telephone to bed and they're on the telephone to 3. Then they go to school the next morning and sleep in class. Parents, you are to blame. The parents, you guys, You've allowed the children to run everything. And then when they get 15 and 16, you are afraid of them. They telling you what to do. They're bringing guns into your house. And you are afraid. Because you didn't do what Proverbs 22:6 requires of all parents. And now you're afraid of your children. There was a saying when I was growing up, my daddy would remind us, I brought you into this world and I'll take you out of this world. But I'm in charge. Parents, if you're going to make things easier for yourself, you need to have some rules on your telephone. First of all, I don't understand why a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old would need to have a telephone. A lot of schools are being built now where you can't use them at school. They won't even be able to make a connection. Oh, I've had parents tell me, well, I want Mary to be able to call me. If you tell Mary I'm going to pick you up in front of the school at this spot at 3 o'clock, then Billy and Mary keep their butt right there until you arrive. Right. You missed the boat, parents. Teach, reinforce, learn, then habits are developed. If you've got children that are 12 and older and you have not done what you should have done, but you want to start again, there's hope. But you've got to be willing to be a military mom or dad. And these dads who are just sperm donors and mothers who allowed them to be sperm donors, and the system who locks them up because they can't pay child support and take their driver's license. The system is designed to lock them up. And then they get the next generation of prisoners because mothers, unless they are like my mother used to be, they have to be borderline crazy to enforce the rules. But that's a lot of work. These daddies, these sperm donors, absentee daddies, I simply say to you mothers who's listening, allow the fathers to interact with their children, especially their sons. Now I know I get it all the time. I am not a chauvinist, but I do know that a mother cannot teach Billy how to urinate standing up. Mama cannot do that. Now, whether you like me or not, prove me wrong. You must allow the structure that God created, man, woman, man respect the woman, man provides. But society changed the rules, especially in the black community. The man couldn't work. He was living in the housing project with the wife and the children. The government says the wife cannot continue to get benefits if the man is there. That was the beginning of dividing the household and allowing the women to run the house because the man couldn't be there. Our society is in turmoil. The black community is on its deathbed. Killings everywhere. Discipline nowhere. But gadgets and things everywhere. Get on your knees and pray and ask God for strength to allow you to raise your children. Keep it in mind, Proverbs 22:6. How do I know? I used to be one of those knuckleheads. But I grew up in a two-parent home. But every evening my father would get in from work. He would kiss my mother on the cheek. And the next question would be, how did the children behave? My mother, at any given point in time, could finger anyone that she wanted a beat down on, because there was no discussion. Daddy just proceeded to do the beat down. So we learned early to do what Mom said, and in hopes that she wouldn't point the index finger for the beat down. I know we've got a lot of distractions. Internet, television, hashtag, all this. You got everything. Everything. But if you don't teach your child, your child will learn from someone else. And if they learn from someone else, they're going to do what they want to do. This is P with GE Square. I'm Thomas Long, your host. We're a bit serious today. If you want some power, get to know God. Get you an education. Acquire some economics. Buy and control your politician. There's an election coming up in October. You got the same folk running. I'm supporting Willie Harrington for mayor. I'm supporting Willie Harrington for mayor. He took me when I was a youngster and allowed me and showed me. I worked for the school system. I did a number of things. I was teachable because my mom and my dad read Proverbs 22:6. You're going to have an election. Everybody's going to tell you everything. I'll give you my lowdown later on as we get into the campaign season about who I'm supporting. And some of my friends I won't be supporting because they won't do a good job. And it's nothing personal. It's not. But if you teach a child, if you look at the books across the front of me, you've got Black Label, White Wealth, right? Starting over to my right, you will see the first book that we're dealing with there, right here, is Power, from civil rights to civil rights, from CIV to SIL, civil to civil. It's about the money. And the other one is about no excuses. And then we've got the $40 million slave. They're talking about athletes who make all this money. And all of our kids want to be basketball stars. When each team don't take but 15, 30 teams times 15, you do the math. You do the math, about 450. But everybody wants to be that. I'm not knocking them if you got the talent, but you ought to at least have a degree, graduate from college. Then if you fail or get injured, you can do something else. And then my book, Ethnic America, by Thomas Sowell. It's an old book, 1972-73 published. But in that book, it's something that is remarkable. Out of every group, nationality that came across on the boat, and everybody did, the Indians stayed, but they were slaughtered. But everybody came over, willing or unwilling. But what's so unique about ethnic America by Thomas Sewell is there was only one group or race of people that integrated. One. And that was black folk. One. We don't own anything. We can't put anybody to work. Our institutions of higher learning beg for money so our kids can go to college. But out of all the nationalities, Chinese, Koreans, Italians, Jews, blacks were the only folk that integrated. And now we're still on the plantation today. Why you say that? I'm sure a lot of folks don't like what I'm saying, but why? Well, they give you food stamps. They give you cell phones, free health care, rent assistance, and the list goes on and on. So why should you work when the plantation owner is giving you $65,000 worth of money? Because you won't vote, you don't read, you don't care where you spend your money. Go to the grocery store and watch the people that's getting food stamps. They got the finest steaks. They got food that I can't even buy. And they don't even work. Yes, I said that. The plantation owner is still got you on the plantation because he feed, clothe you. If he stop feeding and clothe you, you'll die. But everybody else that came over on the boat, they'll survive. Why? Because they started businesses. They put their children to work. They send them to college. And they understand the value of a dollar. They don't go to pay their loans. Title for cash. No excuses. And then we come on around, we start talking about pulse of perseverance. Pulse of perseverance. I met those three young men when they were attending Xavier University. Pierre and all the rest of them. I'm old school and I got a real issue with tattoos. I just do. I remember Pierre told me once, he said, Mr. Long, they're just tattoos. He said, it doesn't affect my brain. Then you got black labor, white wealth. They talk to you about who's providing the labor, but who makes all the money. And then the last book is the new Jim Crow. The new prison where they lock everybody up. Proverbs 22:6. Train a child up in the way that he should go. And when he's old, he will not depart from it. Teach. Reinforce. Learn to work. Good habits are developed. By no means did I intend, if I did come across a bit harsh, I wanted to get my point across. But I didn't, and by no means was I trying to be disrespectful. Parents, you got a tremendous job. I'm just trying to give you some tools that you need. It's easier to shape, if you plant a twig, a tree, it's easier to shape the way it grows, in which direction and all that. When the tree is, you can bend the tree. Same thing with your children. If you catch them prior to 12, just think if you start at 15 months, you've got 10 months, 10 years rather, and 7 months to shape them before they're 12. To shape them, teach them how to read, how to work, how to be good children. But that's your job, parent. That's your job. But if you don't, and then they get 12 and older, and society has had its way with them, you've got your hands full. You've got your hands full. And don't let the daddies try to intervene when that knucklehead boy swells up and want to fight his daddy. And right before the daddy knocks him out, mama, you run and jump in the front of him and holler, "Not my baby. Not my baby." If they were taught, yes, they may have gotten a little out of control, but they understood and they will understand the consequences of wanting to fight the father. Yes, families need to pray. You need to have Bible study. And even with Bible study, you're still going to have some idiots. We had Bible study with my dad as a preacher, but we still tried to have a mutiny every now and then. We wouldn't read the paragraphs, wouldn't answer the questions. But my father, in his diplomatic way, continued. He read the paragraphs, answered the question, and went on to the next one. But we had Bible study every Monday from 5:30 to 6:30. Or it was 6 to 7, 1. Yes. Parents, it's on you. This is P equals GE squared. Call me, 901-452-3094. We are approaching third base. Roughly about 45, 46 minutes roughly to go. That's what we probably got. Well, to be exact about it, we've got 47 minutes. So I hope I'm trying to teach today. I'm trying to teach because I think that all parents are good parents. But peer pressure, the peer pressure to buy Billy and Mary the fanciest clothes, shoes, cars when they don't need them, iPhones when they don't need them, television, let them watch TV all day and all that. There's no structure. But then you want the teacher to wave the magic wand, and instantly your child is learning. Must be effort. Remember, you teach, you reinforce, they learn, and then you have good habits. You develop good habits. It's not something that we're born with. It's something that you're taught. So I wish someone would call me and tell me how they truly feel about my topic today. It's about the parents. All the killing. If you trace it back, some of the kids may just be bad, but as a rule, the kids have been in charge since they were 9 or 10. And they're still in charge. But as I said, there's hope. Get on your knees and pray and ask God to give you the strength and the tools necessary to turn it around. I didn't say it was going to be easy, but I promise you, Proverbs 22:6 spells it out. And that's God's word. Let me pay some bills to my sponsors, You know, I really appreciate you for being with me for 5 years, almost be 5 years in December. You've been with me. And to all of my sponsors, I simply say, you know, that radio programs such as P equals G squared, we remain on the air because of sponsors that advertise their products and services. I ask all P equals G squared listeners to shop and support the following businesses. Time and Space Advertising. Call them at 901-219-1043. The hourglass of all of your advertising need. Time and Space Media. Your Wellness Center, 1087 Alice, serving the Pine Hill, Longview, and South Memphis areas. You need a doctor? Flu shot? Got a sick child? Just walk right in or call 901-271-5379. L&S Fish Market, 1301 Winchester Road, 901-332-8093. Stop by and say hello to NASA and then try the whole catfish. NASA told me to tell my listening audience that the whole catfish is catfish. The fillet is suey. And it's delicious. Yes, truly delicious. Tennessee Regular Baptist Bookstore, my good friend, Adrian Killebrew, 1055 South Bellevue. You know, reading opens minds and doors to opportunities. Tell Mr. Killebrew you heard it on P equals GE squared from Thomas Long, the host. And ask Adrian, you just might get a discount. Case Management Incorporated, 3171 Directors Row, corner Brooks and Directors Row. You know, mental illness, it needs treatment just like the flu. In the black community, nobody wants to talk about mental illness in the black community. We hide the children or the adults when the company is coming over because we're ashamed. But when you're sick, what do? If you got the flu, what do? You go see a doctor. If you got a mental or chemical imbalance, then go see Case Management Incorporated, 3171 Directors Row, corner Brooks and Directors Row. Let's pull the covers off of mental illness in the black community. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. Steve's Restaurant, 2246 South Lauderdale, 901-775-9203. Liver and onions, salmon croquettes, whole catfish. Yes, they will make you become a regular customer. Liver and onion on Tuesdays, salmon croquettes on Thursdays, and whole catfish on Friday. Steve's Restaurant, 2246 South Lauderdale. You know, I'm aging, and when you get old, your eyesight starts to leave you, among other things. But I've had cataract surgery, and that is the Eye Care Surgery Center over on Poplar. I encourage all of you. I walked away, and I encourage you to Google the Eye Care Surgery Center. Dr. Shanzer, she's the surgeon. Dr. Holenhauser is the ophthalmologist. I used to couldn't see more than 25, 30 yards. Now I can see 500. I encourage you to go back to Google the Eye Care Surgery Center. Also, I want you to remember that thanks to the sponsors at P equals GE squared, Because of the sponsors, P equals GE squared can remain on the radio. So please shop with our sponsors. Because if you shop with our sponsors, they can remain in business. And P equals GE squared can remain on the airways. P equals GE squared. If you want some power, remember God, education, economics. It's about the business. It's time out. We should have some businesses in our community. It's time out for being on the plantation with our do-rags, women, and our pants pulled down, men. Yes, the do-rag that the women wear that look like you did when cotton was chopped. And your pants that the boys were wearing down on their butts. It's ridiculous. Where's the respect? Oh, let me go back. It's the parents' responsibility to educate. Because if you train them, you teach them, you reinforce them, they learn, and then they pick up, and then they got good habits. We've got roughly 8 minutes. 901-452-3094. Whether you like my topic or not, I hope that you understood my topic. Because my topic was the results of tedious and careful thought process. I see so many youngsters, so many young African American boys losing their lives. Girls too are in that equation now. Guns everywhere. People screaming about the Second Amendment. But parents, if you're training your children, that means that you know all of Billy's and Mary's friends. And you can spot the ones that are not good citizens. My mom always had the knack of telling me which one of my buddies was going to create trouble. And she always got it right. Parents, do you know your children's friends? Do you know who they hang out? Parents, when was the last time you did a drive-by at the schoolhouse? When I say a drive-by at the schoolhouse, when girls get a certain age, they leave home one way, and when they get to school, they got a t-shirt that turn inside out, and they expose certain things. They put on that lipstick heavy. They put them pants that ought to be a size 8, and they got on size 4. When was the last time that you did a drive-by? And then the boys, they skip school. They go to the wine store, the liquor store, they drinking. And they smoking that marijuana, girls and boys. When they come home after they're out partying, just sit back and watch. Make sure you got some Jackson vanilla wafers on the countertop somewhere. And if they devour those vanilla wafers, they smoking dope. Don't sit up and say, oh no, my children would never do that. They smoking dope, drinking whiskey, and they also are involved with sex. But parents, remember Proverbs 22:6. If you train them up the right way, they're going to be all right. Because it's simple. We teach, we reinforce, they learn, then they develop habits. All is not over if you haven't been doing that. You can start. It's amazing that when we fail to learn something, we can go and take a refresher course. I encourage you to take a refresher course if you haven't been doing some of the things that I discussed tonight. If take inventory, who's in charge? Who controls the cell phones? Who's doing all the work? If you wash the clothes, fold the clothes up, iron the clothes, if you wash the dishes, cook, if you cut the grass, edge the grass, wash the cars, take inventory. If you doing all the work and you got some children, something is wrong with that picture. If you gone and they watching TV and you get home, they ask what's for dinner, or did you go by Wendy's, McD's, or Kentucky Fried, there's something wrong. But there's still hope, because if you train them, they will become great individuals. They will be able to do some things, and then when you get old, they'll take care of you. Make sure that you've got medicine, that you're taking it. If you can't cook, they'll make sure that you eat. That's what it's all about. I know everybody wants to give up on this generation, but I'm not willing to do that. I simply say that you've got to read, pray, and do the things the way God wanted them done, and you'll be okay. I simply say to you, I am Thomas Long, and this is P equals GE squared. If you want some power, get to know God. Get you an education, acquire some economics, and pray. And by all means, if you have children, read Proverbs 22:6. I simply say to you, tune in next week, 5 o'clock, the telephone number 901-452-3094. And remember Kirk Franklin, if you're tired, unhappy, all you got to do is get out the way. Get in the passenger seat or the back seat. Allow God to guide your life, and you will be okay. Remember, parents are in charge. Remember to teach, reinforce, learn, and happy. And I simply say to you, good night. And until next week, remember, P equals GE squared.